To start off with, why is this useful? Well, it's useful because it helps you solve the quadratic equation. I'm going to show you how to derive the quadratic equation by completing the square. You are given the equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. We have to complete the square but first we have to divide the coefficient a on both sides so that the variable x squared will be alone, making it easier to complete the square. Now we are left with x squared plus b over ax plus c over a equals 0. Next we have to subtract c over a from both sides, and we are now left with the equation x squared plus b over ax equals negative c over a. The new equation will read x squared plus b over ax plus blank equals negative c over a. It's time to complete the square. What we will do is write the equation, but with a blank. This is where we will complete the square. How do we do that, you may ask? Well, we plug the b term into the equation 1 over 2 times b squared. Therefore, we multiply 1 over 2 times b over a quantity squared. This simplifies to b over 2a quantity squared. Since we technically added b over 2a quantity squared to the left side, we also have to add that to the right side. Since we technically added b over 2a x quantity squared on the left side, we also have to add it on the right side. Let's bring our new information back into the equation. Why does the left side equal parentheses x plus b over 2a quantity squared, you may ask? It's because it is the factor of x squared plus b over ax plus b over 2a quantity squared. Technically, which is the result of the completing of the square. Now we have to simplify the right side. For this part, we have to add the two fractions, negative c over a plus b squared over 4a squared. These two fractions, we have to have their denominators equal each other. How do we make them have the same denominator? Simply find this out just by looking at the two denominators. We have to first make the left denominator equal the right denominator. We know that 4 times a equals 4a, so there's a 4 included on the left side. Now just to get that a squared over there, let's break it down. Well, a times a equals a squared. And there's an a already on the left side, so if we multiply another a, it would equal a squared. Now that the denominator is multiplied by 4a, the top also has to be multiplied by 4a. The equation looks like negative 4ac over 4a squared plus b squared over 4a squared. Add across, and now we get b squared minus 4ac all over 4a squared. Now we can bring in our new fraction b squared minus 4ac all over 4a squared. Next step is to take away anything squared. You do this by taking the square root of that term. Our new equation is, in parentheses, x plus b over 2a equals plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. It's 2a because the square root of 4a squared equals 2a. In order for x to be by itself, you have to subtract b over 2a from both sides. This because the entire point of this was to solve for x. So finally, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And that's how you derive the quadratic equation, by completing the square. Bam!